Okay, so moving back into how this whole consumer behavior and purchasing cycle goes, let's start really breaking down the steps again, just to understand what's going on in the mind of the consumer and talk through the process from one end to the other. Okay, so we're now looking at their headspace and how they're going to get to their eventual decision and what's going to happen. So the first process, as we talk about, is the evaluation stage, okay, which is where they're starting to evaluate their alternatives. They've been out, they've had their information search, they've started to think about what they want to do, where they want to do it, how, etc. Now they're starting to get to a point of evaluating the alternatives they've identified, okay? So by this position, they've started to get a whole range of things they think might satisfy their need, and they've led to some sort of product or brand that they think is going to start to satisfy that need, okay? And what they might do is to get to that point, they might be using pre-existing or new evaluations in order to get there. They might have read reviews, they might have gathered up information. This is all taking place before the purchase. They're looking around for information that's going to help them make that decision. And the better the quality of that information, the easier it is for them to understand, the easier it is for them to absorb and relate it to their needs. Obviously, the easier it is for them to go, yep, that's the one for me. Okay, so at this stage, what they're really doing is in their head, or even on paper, they're starting to lay out a little bit of criteria against which they're going to measure things, okay? Is it the right color? Is it the fastest one? Is it the best one? Is it the most cost effective? In their head, they're weighing up a whole range of different things, okay? And it does come down to the perceived quality, what's the price point, how does it compare to the others? Is it going to satisfy my need, do I think? And they're going to start putting all that information into a bit of an idea in their mind about, you know, whether or not they like what they're looking at. Okay, so they're going to start moving through that cycle pretty quickly. We do need to be on top of it. We do need to think about how they're going to absorb the information, where they're going to get it from, and then they're going to move on to their criteria. So when we talk about the criteria itself that they're going to weigh it up against, what they're looking there is the standards and specifications. So what quality, how good, what are the specifications? Does it come in my favorite color? Does it come in the correct size? Does it come at the right price point? You know, does it have the right safety features, okay? We're starting to look at the specification, so the detail. They're going to start drilling down into the detail of your product. So once again, that starts to inform, if you've got marketing material out there and that you know you want to get them on this part, you know that I need to make sure that it's really clear and explicit what's happening with my product so that they can evaluate it quickly and go, yep, that's the one for me, that's what I need. Make it crystal clear to understand. If you've got some really long, funky brochure that's 38 pages and the information's hidden in the middle, they're never going to go that far. So you know straight away to start thinking about that and how you're going to meet it. Okay, so what's going to happen is once the consumer has all that information together, they're going to start ranking. They're going to go, yeah, I think I'll prefer, this is my first choice, but maybe that's my second and maybe that's my third, okay? So they're going to use that criteria to come up with some sort of ranking system. All right, they're going to rank it from 1 to, you know, it could be 3 or however many the number is, 1 to X. Okay, they're going to start thinking, this is my first choice, this is my second. If that's available, that's the one I'll get. If it's not, then I'll look at the next one. Okay, they're going to start making their way through. So you can influence that evaluation by framing the alternatives, okay? So you might, you know, give them a price comparison between ours and our competitors' products, or, you know, whichever way you want to go to make it really easy for these people to understand. The quicker they can understand what your value offering is and how it's going to suit their need, the quicker they can make you their provider of choice. Okay, so get on with it. Make sure it's really, really dead easy to digest. Because after they've made that evaluation, they make the purchase. And once that's done, evaluation pretty much ended. They've made their purchase decision. And when they've made the purchase decision, they're moving on to choosing a form or you know, of retailing, a specific retailer, you know, and a particular product and brand. Okay, so now they're starting to think about, where do I want to get it from, who am I going to get it from, and what brand is it going to be? Okay, they've now made the purchasing decision. And what we're talking about there is where the value is going to be exchanged between the buyer and the seller for the goods and service, all right? This is the transaction. Okay, now they've made an evaluation, but they've still got to go through this process because they don't have the product yet. Okay, and the purchase intention can actually change during the purchase stage. Okay, there's a few things that can come in here that all of a sudden they went in to buy something and that can change. So it could be an in-store promotion. They thought they were going to go out and buy a pair of, you know, Reeboks. They got to the store and there was a sale on Nike, and the next minute they've gone, hey, look, actually I was going to buy that. That was the conditions. But now this has changed because the in-store promotion has led me to that. Or alternately, they might find there's a discount going, there could be out of stock, there could be a whole lot of things that take place at this point, which you went to all the effort of making sure this was right, you got them on board, and then the whole thing falls over at the purchasing point, okay? Or they come into your store, they can't get service. I've walked out of shops because I stood there waiting for long enough and went, okay, this got really boring, I don't want to buy your product anymore, packed up and started heading out. Okay, so don't break it at this point because this is a critical stage. This is where the magic is going to happen and money is going to come out of their pocket and hopefully into your register. So don't get this part wrong. Okay, really critical stuff. Cool, got that?